Hey friends, we just had a snowstorm here in the Northeast. A day of shoveling and walking through the snow. Found myself doing some stretches and movements to complement all the hard work that I had done, and figured there's probably a lot of other people out there that could use these same movements. So I figured I'd put a little sequence together for you guys to stretch out after all that hinging and heavy lifting. Okay, let's get started. I'm gonna have you guys actually lay back. I'm gonna join you. You're gonna have your feet flat, your knees bent. Your feet are about hip distance apart, and your knees are just straight up to the sky. Your hands can just rest by your sides. Doesn't matter if they're palms up or palms down, just whatever feels relaxed in your shoulders and chest. Right here, we're just going to breathe here for a few moments to let the lower back soften and the hips. So that's why we have our knees bent. You can also make this a little more supportive if you want to take that pillow or even the block and put it under your lower back. And it's just supporting that lumbar curve. We're not moving here. We are simply going to take a few deep breaths. So once you're comfortable and you feel that the hips are relaxed, the lower back is relaxed, just take a nice deep breath in. And then try to exhale even longer than you just inhaled. And if you weren't aware of how long you inhaled, that's okay. Just pay attention on the next breath in. Try to make that exhale 2 to 3 seconds longer than your inhale. And you're going to take 3 more of those breaths. And as you lengthen that exhale, see if you can pay attention to relaxing your neck and shoulders. On your next exhale, see if you can pay attention to relaxing any tension in your hips and your back, kind of just sending that message from your brain to your body and trying to feel that connection. Once you're done that final breath, if you are on a block or a cushion, just remove that. And then one at a time, bring each knee up towards your chest. You can either grab the front of your shins, or you can interlace the fingers. You can grab opposite wrists, elbows, whatever feels good here. Just hugging your knees into your chest. Try not to cross the ankles. We want the legs to be relaxed here, even though we are kind of contracting the hips. We want the thighs to be soft, the glutes to be soft. And as you breathe here in this little hug, just imagine with every inhale, you're pressing every vertebrae of your spine into the floor. And every exhale, just hug those knees in a little bit more, but trying to keep the neck and shoulders relaxed. So you're using that bicep strength to pull very gently. Inhale, the spine presses towards the ground. And then exhale, give yourself that deeper hug. Very gently. Bring your knees out wide towards your armpits. And the feet can just be relaxed here. And we're just going to make some circles. So my knees are coming out wide and then in through my center. Just do that a few times. And then switch directions so they come in through center, out and away, and then out wide, back in through center. Just kind of massaging the hip joints here. Next time the knees come together, keep them here. Release your arms. If you have enough space, you can go out in a T shape and palms can turn down. If you don't have enough space, you can cactus your arms. And then just allow your knees to drop to the right and look over your left shoulder. Unless it bothers your neck, then you can keep your gaze straight up. As you breathe here, I want you to imagine you're trying to inhale and expand the ribs and the lower back. And as you exhale, you're trying to soften those knees and allow them to drop a little closer to the floor. It's okay if they're not on the floor. And this is another spot where if they're not on the floor, you could take that cushion or block and place it underneath or even between the knees for support. Notice which one just feels better and more supportive for you. So you are not fighting, but you're able to relax and breathe. You're going to take one more breath here. Try to relax your left shoulder down to the ground on this exhale. And then on your next inhale, we're going to bring those knees up through center and then switch them to the other side. And you may have to shimmy the hips a little bit to the right in order to stack your hips and knees, and that's fine. As you breathe here, again, now you're trying to inhale, expand the right rib cage, the lower back of that right side of your body. Imagine you're inhaling space into that area. And as you exhale, trying to allow the hips, everything to relax. Even if you don't feel a change, you're just sending that message to your body that you want to let it release. If it feels good for your neck, you can gaze over to the right. And on your next exhale, seeing if you can relax the right shoulder a little more to the ground. And then on your inhale, bringing the knees back to center. And then you can take a little hug here. And if it feels good, you can kind of try to tuck yourself into a ball, rock and roll forward and back, kind of massaging the spine about 5 or 6 times. If that is not in your practice, if it doesn't feel good today, just roll over to one side and press yourself up. We're going to come over our knees into tabletop. Setting up in tabletop, hands under my shoulders, knees are under your hips. On an inhale, imagine you're pressing the belly button towards the floor, your shoulders draw back and your gaze goes forward for cow. On your exhale, you're going to do the opposite. Tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, pressing into the shins and the palms. Imagine you're trying to draw your belly button in and up now as you press your spine towards the sky. Move at your own pace. Inhaling for cow and exhaling for cat. Take it one more time. And then find a neutral spine. We're going to open up behind our shoulder blades and that upper back from all that heavy lifting. Thread the needle. Inhale, reach the right arm up. And as you exhale, simply reach across. Inhale, reach up again. Exhale, reach across without dropping the shoulder yet. One more time. Inhale, reach. This time on your exhale, let your arm, your shoulder find the ground. Relax your head down. Relax that right arm all the way down. Soften the neck, soften your shoulder. And here, we're getting into that upper back, right behind that right shoulder blade. So you can keep your hips high. You can walk the left arm out or wrap it behind if you want to move that left arm, or just keep it here. If you would like to take a deeper twist for your upper back, very gently, you can try to sit your hips back a little more and then gently guide the hips over to the right, and you may even gaze over your left shoulder. If this is too intense, don't go that far. Wherever you decide to take this, you should be able to breathe fluidly. So if you can't, take it back a little bit, because the breath is what opens up and releases the tension for us. We'll take another breath here. If that left arm is reaching out, bring it back on your exhale. And then on your inhale, unthread your right arm, reaching back up. And exhale, let it go. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. If you'd like to take a little round of that cat and cow in between, go ahead. When you're ready, inhale, the left arm reaches up. Imagine you're trying to take all the weight out of your bottom hand. And then exhale, reach across without tapping the arm down. Inhale, up. Exhale, reaching across, getting that nice rotation. And last one, inhale, reach up. Exhale, allow your arm to find the ground. Relax your head to the ground. Soften your neck, soften your shoulders. Your right hand can stay right in front of the face for support, or we can reach out, we can wrap behind, we can move it a little bit forward, side to side. We can breathe right here. Again, if we want a little bit deeper twist for our back, be gentle and slow as you explore it. But you can slowly sit the hips back a little further, just a little. And then start to play with moving the hips over to the left. And your gaze, your head can look up over your right shoulder. The head is still relaxing down. You're just kind of moving the placement. Remember, the breath is how we determine if we're in a good position here. We want to be able to breathe fluidly so that with every exhale, we can try to connect to relaxing and softening areas of tension. On your next exhale, bring the right hand back to where it started. And on your inhale, unthread the left arm up. Exhale, tabletop. Take that cat and cow if you want. Or maybe you just wiggle the hips a few times. Okay, we open the upper back. Now we're going to do the opposite here. So hopefully my microphone doesn't get all staticky when I go to do this, actually. Be proactive here. All right, we are going to lay down on our belly. Some of you know this as scorpion, some of you as fallen star. We're going to start with reaching the right arm out to the side. My palm faces down, my fingers are spread wide, and my palm is pressing into the floor. My arm is right in line with the shoulder, maybe even slightly lower. Inhale, bend the left leg. My foot is flat, dorsiflexed. And then press open, bringing your left foot across to the right hand, and you can soften your head down to the ground. I can use my left hand for support, bringing it closer to my ribs, my chest area. And if we're super flexy and want to try funky stuff, we can reach that arm up and back, placing the back of your hand in the small of your lower back. As you breathe here, we're opening the front side of the shoulder, that upper back. We can also play with the hip here. So simply by placing the foot flat on the floor and then trying to allow the knee to drop slightly downward and then lift the knee up towards the sky, you're just going to add a little active release. But if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Slowly come back to center. Release that right leg down, and we will switch to the other side. Left hand goes out. My right hand comes in close to my chest, and I kick across. And just like we did with thread the needle, I didn't offer this earlier, but you can move this back and forth a few times first if that feels good. And then settle in. I'm bringing my left hand close to my chest to support that lift. And I am going to explore moving this right knee up and down, just gently a little bit. It feels good on my hip. And then I'm going to find stillness and just take one more breath here before I return back to center. In center, pelvic floor therapists have taught me that sometimes when our back feels really tight, we have to do these press-ups, and it seems a little counterintuitive, but it can kind of unlock anything going on in that lumbar spine. So you're going to allow your feet to be about hip distance apart, hands under your shoulders. Take an inhale. On your exhale, press up. Relax your shoulders. Relax your glutes. You actually want to be passive here and let gravity take over. On your next exhale, relax down. Take an inhale at the bottom. And then again, exhale, press up. We're going to take an inhale at the top. Exhale, lower down. And we're going to do that 3 more times. It can seem hard because intuitively we're told to kind of tighten up the glutes, but I want you to try to relax them and allow your hips to just hang heavy. The arms are taking all of the weight here. Doing one more. Once you finish that last one, bring your hands down and let your forehead rest on the hands. And all you're going to do is bend your knees and then windshield wiper those feet right and left. So you're just kind of rotating the hips and let it go. Okay. Let's come back up to tabletop and then child's pose. Knees wide, your toes touch. You can use a block or the cushion between your feet to help support your hips if you're not able to sit back. But sit those hips back as far as they can go to the heels. Walk the arms out in front. Drop your forehead to the mat. Actively trying to sit the hips back so you can almost press through those hands to sit the hips back a little more. And this will also stretch the shoulders a little differently than we've done yet. And then slowly come up. Have a seat. So if you do have a block, it may be useful here. If you don't, that's okay. We're going back to where we started. Knees bent, feet flat. I'm going to recline back. I'm crossing my right ankle over my left thigh. As you breathe in this figure 4, try to press your back evenly into the floor. You can gently use a hand to guide that right thigh away from your body. And this may be enough. If you're feeling a big stretch here and you're having a hard time getting your back flat, simply stay here and breathe. if we don't quite feel the stretch, we want to take it a little further or even just explore what that feels like. You're going to take your right and left hand. My right hand goes between my legs. My left hand is going outside to grab the back of my left thigh. I can interlace my fingers. You could also use a strap here if you can't connect the hands. And then I'm pulling this figure 4 very gently up towards my chest. This takes it a little bit deeper into the lower back and the glute. If our hip flexors are tight, it may be a little harder on the hip flexors as well. And then from this figure 4, you're not going to use your hand this time, but that right knee that's floating, you're just going to energetically try to press it away from you. Even though you're using the other hands to pull this figure 4 towards you. On your exhales, just gently energize that right leg and try to press the knee away. Just a couple times. Once you've done a few breaths there, another option I offer, keep this figure 4 but let it go. Cactus your arms. I'm going to come up a little closer. Cactus your arms. And then let that figure 4 rock right and left very gently. Little release for the hips. And then on the next time that right foot, that floating foot, comes towards the floor, see if you can press it down, relax the left leg totally. It's kind of the opposite of what we did with our scorpion with the hip. So while you're here, trying to keep both shoulders connected to the floor, the right foot planted on the left side of our body, and our right knee is pressing up. And if this doesn't feel good, don't do it. Okay, let's take it to the other side. Left ankle crosses over the right thigh. Actively press your back into the floor. Keep neck and shoulders relaxed. You can use your left hand to gently press that left thigh away from you. See how that feels. And then option 2, take the right and left hand, interlace it behind the right thigh, and guide that figure 4 closer to your body. As you do this, breathing, keeping your back flat, and then engaging the left leg on your exhale. Imagine you're trying to energetically press the knee away from you. A little bit of an active release. So exhale, press it away, and inhale, just let everything relax into the stretch. Once we've done that a few times, we can cactus the arms and let that figure 4 kind of drop right and left a few times. And even if our foot is still planted on the ground, that right foot, that's fine. You can just shake the hips right and left. This can be done whether our foot is floating or not. All right, and then trying to take it all the way over to the right. The left foot plants. Knee presses up. Your right leg is relaxed. That left knee pressing up towards the sky. And breathe. Soften the left shoulder. And then bring it back to center. Uncross that leg. Give the legs a big stretch. Allowing your arms to also come overhead, full body stretch, wiggling ankles, wrists, fingers, toes, whatever you need. And then slowly allowing your arms to come down by your sides, palms up, just resting in stillness for a few breaths before we finish. lying on your back just for a few moments with your breath, recognizing that you did all that heavy lifting earlier today or maybe yesterday, whenever, and you chose to take part in this practice to complement that. So opening up space, giving your body an opportunity to release some of the tension and the contractions that it created so that you can continue to grow and move forward fluidly with ease. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.